Hey, how you doing, folks? I'm Terry Taylor, and welcome to another episode of the Terry Taylor Show. I apologize that I'm not coming to you from the couch today. I'm really sick. I have a really bad cold, and I'm in bed, and I have not gotten out of bed. But I wanted to get this up. Um, some things I wanted to talk about. We had our first Rogue One trailer, like real trailer, after that teaser that we got earlier in the year. We got this Thursday night during the Olympics, and oh my. I did a brief little reaction video to it. It's on my channel. But I gotta tell you, I think it looks fantastic. Just the way it's shot, the specific camera they're using. They're using the same camera that they used to shoot The Revenant, which is giving it that whole gritty look that it's got going on. That whole shot with like the eclipsing moon and everything. The way it's filmed so far looks absolutely beautiful. I like that they gave us a little more story to what was going on. They showed us a little more action. And of course, they shoehorned him in right at the end there, but they gave us the man, Darth Vader himself. So the people will finally realize that this is not Episode 8. This is a side story. This is not the main saga story. This is not another installment of that. This is a side story that takes place around it. This takes place right before A New Hope. Right before A New Hope. Those rebels stealing the Death Star plans, that's what this movie's about. If you don't know this yet, I'm sure most of you know this already. But the trailer I thought was great. I thought it was really successful in what they were trying to show. Because especially after the backlash of the Star Wars Celebration material that had come out, and then nothing at Comic-Con, they did what I thought they were going to do. They waited until after Suicide Squad was released and the hype around that had died, and they waited for the hype to die down from Comic-Con, and they dropped this trailer during the Olympics, which was perfect because they know that they're going to get many, many viewers to see this ad. And I think the ad was successful. I think it looks great. I really can't wait to see this film. It had the tone that I really wanted. Gareth Edwards had said at last year's celebration, the film is called Star Wars, so this is going to be a war film. And then, we got reports that they were maybe softening it up, maybe it was a little too gritty. There were a lot of reshoots, and there's Tony Gilroy is now taking part with the editing and second. He's going to be he's got a lot of hands in it, but it does not look like they meddle too much with the theme that's been pitched all along, which I'm very happy about. I want to see this film very badly. I'm very much anticipating this, because if they nail it, then this opens up a whole new world to what could be some really cool, differently themed Star Wars films. Which there's a whole universe out there. There's much story to be told, and me as someone who's such a fan, this is cool, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this film, which comes out in December. Yeah, so the trailer's great. So if you haven't seen it yet, I don't know if you've been living on the moon or something, but you just go online and fucking watch it. More news coming out of Star Wars is that they're casting Lando Calrissian for the standalone Han Solo film. As we know, we've had Alden Ehrenreich. Yeah, that's how you pronounce his name. Alden Ehrenreich, who was in Hail Caesar. He's been cast as our new Han Solo, which a lot of people don't know who he is, which is fine, which is sort of goes with the tradition of Star Wars. They were always known for really casting unknown actors and really using them, Star Wars, as a springboard, because you don't go into these films with preconceived notions of who these people are as actors first. So you'll never know if they're acting against type or whatnot, because you don't really know who many of them are. Which has always been the Lucas formula. He did that when he started. So it's nice that they're kind of keeping that thing going forward. They're peppering in people here and there that Mads Mikkelsen, Forrest Whitaker. This is cool that we're getting this. Ben Mendelsohn, who I fucking love. He's like one of my favorites. So Rogue One's got these peppered in. So with the Lando casting, where they're kicking around more well-established names. The names kicking around are Michael B. Jordan, who I think would be great. He's got that sort of charismatic smile that Lando had. He's got that certain charisma, that charm. Lando was always one of my favorite characters. So I think Michael B. Jordan would be great. I mean, granted, he's got a full plate. He's now part of the Marvel Universe. He's going to be in Black Panther as the villain. He's now with the new Creed, the Rocky continuation of that story, which I'm sure they'll make more of those. He's got his plate full, and he was in the Fantastic Four, but we will not fault him for that. So I mean, people are a little skeptical. He's got too many franchises going on, and this, that, and the other, because he is going to be, if he's in Black Panther, depending on how that turns out, he could show up in Infinity Wars, or he could show up somewhere else down the MCU, down the line in the MCU. Another one that they're kicking around is Donald Glover. Donald Glover from Community would be. I think he'd be great. He's funny. I'm not sure where he fits as far as his age, because we're not. Alden Ehrenreich is in his early 20s, so if we're taking Han as being in his early 20s in this film, Donald Glover is in his 30s, so it's interesting to see how this would work out. But I don't hate that decision. I do personally think Michael B. Jordan would be better, because I think he could really pull off that charm, that whole sort of like devil behind the eyes thing that Lando had going on. But we'll see. You'll have to excuse me. I'm sniffling. My head is just filled with pressure. I also apologize. I have not got out of bed. This is what I look like today. So also, there's been rumors circulating about the new Wonder Woman film being a mess. Turns out that somebody who works for the company, who either was fired or left, put out information saying that they're having issues, that they don't know how to get rid of higher-ups who have too much to say and have too much involvement in the films, which is what is ruining the DC EU with the films that are out so far. I mean, think what you will of them so far, but there needs to be some sort of fix happening. They have Jeff Johns in charge of the DCEU, but they don't have a Kevin Feige, who is a renowned producer, who has credit behind it. Jeff Johns does not have those producer credits behind him. He does not have that body of work behind him. So I don't necessarily think he knows exactly how to finesse the DC cinematic films the way that Kevin Feige has oversaw and finessed the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But that being said, they have Patty Jenkins to direct Wonder Woman, who took to Twitter and basically shot down all reports that Wonder Woman is a mess. And I trust her, because she directed Monster with Charlize Theron and Christina Ricci, which, if you've ever seen that movie, it's fantastic. And I think it's wonderful that she's directing Wonder Woman. I think, from what we've seen in the trailer, I think it looks fucking kick-ass. So she went on Twitter and basically shot down all the rumors, and said that anybody really who was involved in the film, they know that there's no mess at all. And I tend to believe her. I think I think Wonder Woman is going to be the film that sort of sets everything right in the DCEU. Which leads me into my next part, where I'm going to be talking about Suicide Squad. I know I've had this review coming for a while, and I've had a whole bunch. Anyway, excuses, here it is. So Suicide Squad, what did I think? I liked it. And this is coming from somebody who did not like the theatrical release of Batman vs. Superman. I did like the Ultimate Edition better, but like I've said before, it doesn't make it a great film. It just makes it a better film that's a little more cohesive. Suicide Squad, from a narration standpoint, is fucking all over the place. It's a mess, and it's edited with like a butter knife. I mean, this thing is just hacked up and chopped together, and you can definitely see the studio's involvement in the shaping of the film, and the fact that that David Ayers only had 6 weeks to come up with a script. It shows, and the film suffers because of it. You can definitely tell. I mean, 6 weeks is a month and a half, and most scriptwriters don't even get their first draft done in that period of time. And he had a finished product from start to finish in 6 weeks. So that's commendable. But you can definitely tell that there's studio intervention in this film that muddies the waters, because from a narrative standpoint, it's completely disjointed. And the thing that's so good about it, though, is that the characters are so good that they're so likable that they drive the film along. The whole thing with Joker and Harley, their relationship, they knocked it out of the park. I know a lot of people did not like Jared's version of the Joker, but the thing is, we've never seen a Joker like this before. I heard somebody say that he's like a cross between the Cesar Romero Joker from the 60s TV show and Scarface, and I thought that was a pretty good analogy. He is, but you can definitely tell that his character suffered from all the editing that they did. As Jared has come out and said that they cut a lot of him out of the film, and you can tell because his story's got some holes in it. And I feel like they sort of edited some of the humor out of his part. He's a little serious. I will say this, though. For somebody who was... Oh, I apologize for that. I didn't turn my ringer off. I will say this. For somebody who was so into the method acting and sending used condoms and dead pig heads and whatever the hell else he was doing, having everybody on set call him Mr. J, I really didn't think his performance warranted all that. I didn't think he knocked it out of the park like that. I have some mixed feelings about why they've edited him the way they have in the film, and I think a big part of it is they want to kind of use him sparingly now, so that way, when you watch his performance as the Joker, you get used to him in small doses first. So that way, when it comes to either the Harley Quinn standalone or the standalone Batman film when he comes back, we will be a little more used to him rather than just stick him in as the main guy in a whole film. I mean, the whole time it would suffer from being compared to The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger's untouchable rendition of the Joker. And so I understand the business move, and that was very kind of smart. But I don't think the editing suffered from it. I think it was edited poorly. Whether it was done by Trailer Park, that edit, or whether it was done by David Ayers, who knows? We'll never. I mean, the speculation abound. But things I had, I may sort of get into a little bit of spoiler territory here. So if you haven't seen the film yet, maybe you want to skip ahead. Enchantress, I think, was a misstep. I think that her character was not really fleshed out, and like the whole change into at the end where she's the villain, and like, well, so we got like a bunch of like googly-eyed like zombies that were now like essentially like cannon fodder henchmen. I thought there was no stakes there. There was no. It was just like replacing a bunch of like the Ultron robots with like these like googly-eyed like monsters, like, and so for that it was I get a little bored watching that. There's no stakes to that. There's no. I wanted to see a little more character development for these characters, and even like Jai Courtney, who I mean, really, you could replace him in a film by like a ficus, and I wouldn't know the difference. And he's actually really good in this. I have no problems with him as Boomerang. He's fine. He sort of leaves abruptly, which is a little strange. It's very, very music video-y. It's very, Kevin Smith said it's like you're walking around the mall and it's like Hot Topic just came to life and started like fighting zombies, which I thought was a pretty good analogy too. Excuse me. I like the way they introduced the characters. I thought that was really cool. But the problem is they have this great soundtrack that they have paid a fortune to have and use in this film. And they use all these songs and they bang them out real quick as you're getting to know all these characters. But then they never come back, the songs. I feel like that was like a misstep. They could have used these songs that they've paid so much for as like sort of like the theme songs to each individual character. And they didn't really do that. It was like they started to do it and then they just didn't. So I felt that was a little strange, and that comes down to the editing. I'm sure somebody, I don't know. There's a lot of rushing around, and the film really, you can tell that this was kind of sort of rushed together. I really wish that Warner Brothers would put a little more trust in their directors and their filmmakers. I think David Ayer's final cut of his vision, it's something I want to see, and I don't know if we ever will see that. And it's upsetting to me that we won't be, and it's upsetting to me that Warner Brothers is very much like that, especially with the DCEU that they're trying to set up. They're dabbling too much in it, and they're not letting these filmmakers have their vision, and I hope that's not the same for Patty Jenkins. The backlash for this film was not as bad as Batman vs Superman. It is still very mixed as far as reviews go, but it's making money, it's breaking records, and it's still number one. So that's cool. It's holding on. It's killing it in the European market. So that's encouraging, because that means they'll make more of these films, and hopefully they'll really get it right. Vivica Fox, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. She's amazing. She's amazing in it. Absolutely fantastic. I think she's probably the best bad guy in the film. Really, she's one of the. I'm sorry, Viola Davis. I don't know why I just said Vivica Fox. Viola Davis. She's fucking frightening. She's really, really, really scary, and I loved her in this film. I thought she was great. I want to see. I mean, she's such a fantastic actress. I think I think they nailed her character very well. And if you read the comics, the characters, it's like they took the best part of her character and then like embellished all that. And I thought that they nailed that. They knocked that out of the park. And Harley Quinn, she kills it. I mean, she is Harley Quinn. The casting could not be better on that. I really want to see more of Jared Leto's Joker. Will Smith, I was a little concerned that this was going to be a Will Smith movie, and he had people like holding him up. And it wasn't. It wasn't. He was really part of the ensemble cast, and he fit in very well with the rest of the squad. And it's like the best thing I've seen him do in a long time. He's got this relationship with his daughter and whatnot that underlies through the whole thing. I do think that they should have made the Joker the bad guy in this film. I understand why they didn't. They don't want to. They want to get us used to Jared's Joker, but I feel like the film suffered a little bit because of it. And there's a lot of it that doesn't make any sense. There's things that they refer to where it's like, what are you talking about? And I'm sure that's part of this final edit. I'm sure we're going to see an Ultimate Edition or a director's cut or whatever they're going to release, which is going to show us like a much better version of this film. But for what it was, I had a lot of fun. There was enough fun in there that I came away where it was a positive experience, and I liked it. It's my favorite so far of the DCEU. I thought, followed by Man of Steel, and then BVS is like right down here someplace. But I thought it was, I think it's a step in the right direction, sort of. I say that tentatively. I hope that they do not meddle with Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman. I really hope that they let her version be the release. If they do that, I think that's a great course correction, and you can really, really go forward and tell this great story of DC and all these rich characters, because the characters in the DC world, the universe, are very rich characters. They just need to be done just right. Because same thing with Suicide Squad and Batman vs Superman. It's like they're like a little confused on how to use these characters, and they almost want us to like them a little too much. They want us to sort of fall in love with them a little too much, except for Superman, who apparently like we have to fucking hate him because he's just a miserable emo guy until they bring him back from the dead, I guess. But I don't know. They're very confused on what they're doing with these characters still. But I think Wonder Woman's gonna fix that up. Now, going back to Star Wars real quick, I just wanted to talk briefly about since the Rogue One trailer was dropped, there's a hilarious Kylo Ren reaction to it that you have to see. Go check it out on YouTube. Hit pause or whatever. Go check it out because it is absolutely hysterical. Had me literally laying in bed crying this morning. Tissues jammed up my nose because I was just snotting all over my face. I'd also like to say that today I'm a cook. For those of you who don't know, I'm very much into the food. I'm also into all this stuff, but I'm also a cook. I'm also a drummer. But as a cook, I wanted to wish a happy posthumous birthday to Julia Child, who would have been 104 years old today. I just want to comment briefly about her importance. If you don't know who she is, go Google some of her old videos from her cooking shows from way back. She was just charming, lovely, hysterically funny, sort of ungracious. Like the mistakes are left in the show, but she brought French cuisine to like the layman who wanted to maybe know how to make coq au vin and it seemed overwhelming to them cooking French food, and here was this woman, sort of clumsy, who came out and said, "Hey, I can do it. You can too." And then she was just this lovely woman, and I think if you've never seen any of her stuff, go look up some Julia Child stuff. I just wanted to say happy 104th birthday wherever you are. I'm sure it's very delicious where you are right now. And from a cook who watched you as a young boy growing up, I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'd also like to comment that in 1969, today, which is the 15th, today is the 15th, right? Anyway, it's the anniversary of Woodstock, the original 3 days of peace, love, and music. And I would like to just say that, the time that had happened, that place in time, the late 60s, we had the Vietnam War, we're just coming out of segregation and civil rights, and it's interesting to note that we're going through such very similar change, human change, social change in the world that is sort of mirrored in the time of the 60s. And so I had to make a point to mention that Woodstock was 1969 today. And I'd also like to say that if you've never seen the Woodstock film, I strongly suggest it. I'm going to walk with you real quick. You're just going to have to follow me. I strongly suggest seeing the film. I have to show you my own little personal. That right there is an original. I have a glare. Sorry. That's an original poster from Woodstock, August 15th, 16th, and 17th. This is an original that my godmother had actually purchased at Woodstock. So it is from Woodstock. When I tell you it is legit from Woodstock, it is legit. I'm very proud to have it on my wall. And I think it's important to go look into the music that came from Woodstock era. I think it's important to think about the social change that went on in that time period then. And think about how it reflects in today's society. And maybe think about that love that we lost for progression somewhere along the way, whether it be the 80s or what, where everybody just got too greedy and too selfish. Let's go back and think about what that movement meant and maybe how it applies today. Anyway, I'm going to come and do a Mr. Robot review for you soon. Speaking of social change, and I'd like to say thanks for coming by today. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Terry the Loon, all spelled out in one word. And so thanks for stopping by. Make sure you click subscribe and like, and leave a comment in the section below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Thanks.